I opened my eyes to stillness, too still to be natural. Beneath my feet was cold stone, smooth and elevated, a pedestal. Around me stood a crowd of strangers, their faces blurred by distance and unease. Above them all, hovering just beyond arm's reach, a translucent blue screen flickered like a dying flame. Welcome, host. Please choose your contracted beast. The words pulsed softly, repeating over and over as if they were breathing. Confusion crashed into me. I tried to turn, to step down, to move, but my body refused. An unseen force held me in place, locking my limbs in an invisible grip. Only my eyes obeyed. So I looked. The screen shifted at my gaze, responding instantly. Creatures, no, beasts, began to scroll past in vivid, impossible detail. Then one stopped me. A wolf. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, until the flames ignited. Its fur burned crimson, each strand glowing like embers. A ruby, embedded in its forehead, pulsed with molten light. When it opened its jaws, fire roared out in a torrent like a living inferno. A box snapped open beside it. Analysis complete. Firewolf, not recommended. Temperament, unstable. Loyalty, low. Risk to host, high. My eyes darted away, beasts followed. Towering serpents, winged horrors, creatures that twisted the air around them. But each one came with warnings, flaws, disqualifications. The system rejected them before I could even consider them. Then I saw it, a small cat. It sat quietly at the edge of the display, almost overlooked. A simple house cat, except for the faint crescent moon etched into its forehead. I focused on it. The system hesitated, then responded. Analysis complete. F-rank lunar cat, common variant. Potential unlimited evolution. Starting skill, shadow slash. Personality, unbothered. Compatibility warning, not ideal for host. The words barely registered. Because the cat moved. It stood. And then, impossibly, it stepped out of the screen. A ripple of darkness spread beneath it as it walked toward me, silent and deliberate. The crowd vanished from my awareness. The system's warnings blurred into meaningless noise. The cat stopped at my feet and looked up. Its fur was not black, but a deep, velvety purple, like the night sky just before dawn. Its eyes were gold, sharp and slit like a predator's, glowing faintly with something ancient. The crescent moon on its forehead shimmered silver, catching a light that didn't exist. It stared into me. Not at me, into me. The system flared violently. Warning, compatibility below 10%. Bond instability likely. Recommendation, choose another beast. But I couldn't. Something pulled at me. Soft, quiet, undeniable. Like gravity. Like fate. I choose, I whispered, though I wasn't sure if sound even existed here. The cat's eyes narrowed. Then it dissolved. Its body melted into shadow, collapsing into a writhing pool of darkness that surged forward and swallowed me whole. I gasped, but the sensation wasn't fear. It was warmth. The shadows wrapped around me like a blanket, thick and suffocating, yet comforting. Safe, like I had finally stepped somewhere I belonged. I closed my eyes. Something changed. My body grew lighter, as if weight itself had been peeled away. A strange energy coursed through my veins, cold and sharp, yet alive. My hair brushed against my face, longer now, darker. When I lifted my hand, I felt it before I saw it. A mark, a crescent moon etched into my skin, glowing faintly against the darkness. My frame had shifted, leaner, faster. My senses sharpened, every sound, every breath around me suddenly clear. Even my face felt different, refined, younger. Then the shadows receded. I opened my eyes, the cat sat calmly at my feet, as if it had always been there, and the world came rushing back. He transformed with his beast. It's been years since that's happened. What did he contract with? Was that even an F rank? Voices rippled through the crowd, no longer distant. I looked up. An old man stood before me, dressed in plain robes. His eyes, however, were anything but plain. They gleamed with quiet curiosity. Congratulations, he said, smiling faintly. You have successfully formed a bond. His gaze flicked briefly to the cat at my feet. A rather unusual one. He stepped aside, gesturing toward a dim corridor beyond the stage. Proceed to the next room for evaluation. The murmurs grew louder, heavier, uncomfortable. I didn't argue. With the lunar cat at my side, I stepped down from the pedestal, my body moving with unfamiliar grace, and walked toward the exit, leaving behind the whispers and the life I no longer recognized. The door slammed shut behind me, cutting off the noise of the crowd like a blade slicing through cloth. Silence. It rushed in all at once, thick, heavy, suffocating. I exhaled slowly, my chest rising and falling as if I'd just escaped drowning. Finally, I muttered under my breath. At my feet, the cat sat calmly, its golden eyes watching me with quiet amusement, like it understood far more than it let on. I knelt down, studying it for a long moment before a small, disbelieving smile crept across my face. I don't know what's going on, I said softly, but it looks like I ended up with a cat. The moment I stood, it moved, a blur of shadow, and suddenly it was on my shoulder. I flinched, heart jumping into my throat. You could warn me, I muttered, glancing sideways. The cat, my cat, didn't react. It simply settled in, tail curling lazily behind my neck like it belonged there. I swallowed my nerves and started forward. The hallway stretched long and narrow, the walls smooth and empty, too clean, too perfect. Overhead, fluorescent lights buzzed faintly, their cold glow washing everything in sterile white. But it wasn't empty. Symbols lined the walls. Strange, curling characters I had never seen before pulsed faintly with a golden glow, like they were alive, like they were watching. My steps slowed. My mind was a mess. Just minutes ago, minutes, I had been in my apartment. I remembered it clearly. The dim light, the quiet hum of my fan, lying down, closing my eyes. Then, here, I reached up and pinched my cheek. Pain flared instantly. Yeah, definitely not a dream, I muttered, wincing, but that only made it worse. If this wasn't a dream, then what was it? Why was I here? And what was this place? The cat's tail flicked lightly against my neck, grounding me just enough to keep moving. Eventually, I reached another door. Unlike the last, this one was seamless, metallic, with no visible handle. Beside it stood a panel, a faintly glowing handprint embedded in its surface. I hesitated, then placed my hand against it. A soft hum vibrated through my palm as light spread outward, scanning not just my hand, but something deeper. The crescent mark on the back of my hand pulsed faintly in response. A voice rang out, cold, mechanical. Welcome. Congratulations on forming a bond with a beast, student ID number 4367, Blake Warner. I froze. That's my name, I whispered. Please proceed inside for assessment. The door slid open with a hiss. I stepped through. The room beyond was stark, empty save for a single terminal in the center. As I approached, the air shimmered. A hologram flickered to life. A woman appeared, featureless in perfection, her expression neutral, her eyes empty. Please input the name of your bonded beast. A name, I repeated quietly. I turned my head. The cat met my gaze, unbothered as ever. For some reason, one name surfaced without thought. Marshmallow. The moment the word left my mouth, I regretted it. A soft chime echoed. Name registered, Marshmallow. Wait. I reached out instinctively. No. Registration complete. Name cannot be altered. I stared at the hologram in disbelief. You've got to be kidding me. Slowly, I turned my head toward the sleek, shadowy creature perched on my shoulder. Sorry, I muttered. You're stuck with it. Marshmallow blinked once, unimpressed. I sighed. A pitch-black, ominous-looking cat, named Marshmallow. Perfect. The terminal pulsed again, light swept over me, then over Marshmallow. A familiar blue screen appeared, hovering in front of us. Status, host, Blake Warner, domain, beast tamer. Beginner, stage 1, strength, 25, agility, endurance, 45, wisdom, 20. I frowned slightly. No idea what any of that means. The screen shifted. Bonded beast, Marshmallow, stage 1, skills, shadow claw, size manipulation, special trait, bonding boost times 2, growth rate. My eyes narrowed. Shadow claw, probably an attack. Size manipulation, that sounded dangerous. And that last one, double growth, I whispered. That didn't sound normal. Before I could think further, the hologram spoke again. Evaluation complete. A soft whirring noise came from the terminal. A small card slid out from a slot below. I picked it up and froze. The information didn't match. The stats were lower, simplified, normalized, and the special trait was gone. What? I muttered, flipping the card over. Nothing. No mention of the growth boost. No mention of anything unusual at all. It was wrong. Completely wrong. A chill crept down my spine. Why hide it? I whispered. Before I could dig deeper, the door behind me burst open. Voices flooded in, loud and impatient. Move, move, next. Quit blocking the room. Several people pushed past me, their presence jarring, their energy chaotic. I was forced to step aside, the cards still clutched tightly in my hand. My thoughts scattered, but one thing lingered. Something wasn't right. And whatever this place was, it wasn't showing me everything.